Hello and welcome to Football Tactics and Glory Football Stars, the new expansion for Football Tactics and Glory. This is going to be a special video going through a bunch of the changes and additions that have come from the Football Stars DLC. Now, I have been playing it a little bit. I'm right at the end of the first season, as you can see, Aurora FC, Season 1, Rank 3 Amateur League. But before I get into that, some changes just to the menu. We've got some stats and numbers, and we can see which one of these players there are kicking around the ball at the menu. Multiplayer is still the same, single player still the same, modifying leagues. I do think you have a little more control over this now than previously, but still the same list of nations here to edit from. So the real change is when we get into the game, or at least the save itself. So we're going to go to Aurora here. Now, I am right at the end of the season for Aurora FC here. Only one game left, and we will get into that and watch the game and then the transition to the next season. But I want to go through some of the menu stuff here because a lot of the changes are coming from the out of the matches gameplay, the management side of things. So the transfer window is closed. We'll look back at that once we've turned over the season. But the first thing that's really changed with the menu here is the calendar is now in the actual front menu instead of having to go to tables and then going there. So we can look at previous matches, our 1-1 draw against Anaheim, our 5-0 win against Lexington Fayette, and 3-0 over Riverside, 3-1 over Santa Ana. We can look at how we did in the Cup. We got to the round of 32 and then faced Fresno and lost 4-1 on aggregate. We can look into the tables. This is still the same structure as before. If you look at how we're doing relative to the other teams, yeah, this last game is going to be important. It's going to determine if we are third or second in the league. Unfortunately, we can't actually get to first because Honolulu and Anaheim are playing each other, and that prevents us from moving on. Same thing. These menus are very much the same as you'd expect from the base game. Although I am seeing a lot more competition in this Premier League, at least in my Manchester save, there's really one dominant team there. For the league leaders, this is the same as well, but you can see that there's some additional details for all of the players. We'll get into that more later, but we got goals, we got assists, tackles, saves, and then man of the match. So this is just recording who's gotten man of the match most often. And we can see our best has been Shank here. Statistics, this is the general biggest, the best in particular categories season to season. Now we haven't had a champion, so we don't know exactly these things yet, but we can see that we are tied for the most clean sheets in the league, but other than that, we do not lead in any of these categories. And there is more statistics, but this is still early. We can't say. Analytics, also important. There's just so much more in the area of statistics to go off of here. Most points, least points, most victories, most draws with scored goals. There's a lot of specific stuff. Boringly effective team. They've got it. It's measured on 1-0 wins, matches and wins, all of that stuff. Most cards, most injuries. And you can see that the only category we are actually showing up in is most clean sheets. Now, but for footballers, just all this stuff, you can dive really deeply into the stats here. And we can see for assists, we've got the most assists performed, the most assists in one match, and the best assists per match ratio. Most tackles, we've got Doolin here with that, and the most tackles in one match. Saves, youngest player on the pitch, oldest player. Yes, we did play McKenna when he was 34. He is no longer with the team, so that is why. Here. Team that angered the opposing side's fans. Yeah, we had some big victories over these teams. And then general stats. Looking at there. And that's even just the surface. That's just the team by team data. So let's look at the players here. We've got a pretty good lineup. Now, if you can tell that these players aren't as good as they usually are at the amateur league level in the base game, that's right. They are not as strong of players here. But thankfully all the others are not as strong as well. So if we look here, we've got Goff, our goalkeeper. High interest. All of this is pretty similar to how things work in the base game. The career page, now they've set this up a little bit more to include more stats, have the character profile, specialization. Specialization introduces a new tree to this in stamina. More energy recovery, better energy recovery if the footballer didn't play. That's not going to be relevant to our goalkeeper. Reduced chance of being injured, and reduced chance of getting a card. But one of the biggest things with this are these two things. So we've got giftedness. Giftedness, you can have up to, I believe, 5 giftedness, and you can get, and that determines how much experience you get past a certain level with a player. Now, we've got a level 16 player here, so he's only 3 arrows. He's only getting 60% of the experience because he's only a level 1 giftedness. Now, we do have some level 2s. Our entire defense is level 2s, as is our right midfielder and 2 of our forwards, including one of our bench forwards. But that's not really great for moving on, because if you look at even the 3rd league, let's look at Long Beach here. Long Beach, okay, Long Beach is also at 2 giftedness for those. Let's take a look at Las Vegas. And yeah, we start seeing some 3 giftedness with Balak there. And then ultimately, if we're looking up here, you start seeing some 4s in Dawson. And if you're listening to the music at the moment, yes, there are some new tracks to the music, and they're quite good. I'm really enjoying it. This is not one I've actually heard. I think there are 10 new tracks in the game, so I haven't heard all of them. And I'm really enjoying hearing the ones that I am. This one's got a good beat. So contracts, still the same thing. We have color-coded interest from other teams here. Training, same stuff. Specialization, same stuff. So if we look at the club, now this is another big area. Yeah, still upgrading stadium size, youth academy, but then there are specific coaches. Youth coach, second youth coach. These look into the experience that players are getting, focusing on attributes, the training grounds to help out with the coaches from before, and then Scout Center, same thing. So all the stuff you could upgrade before is there, but we have specific buildings for each of them now. And then the medical center, improving training and recovery and reducing the likelihood of injury, has been added as well. Achievements, not much here. We've got no trophies yet. Prestige Cup, just a bunch of more stats here. Keane, we sold him right at the beginning. Constant rival. We played Lexington Fayette 4 times because we played them in the Cup. And they are an easy rival for us because we've done really well against them. No bogey team at the moment, but I'm sure that'll come later. Don't know what just happened there. best winning streak, all these things. Not entirely sure what this part of the thing is over on the side, but not too important. Footballers, all these things, seasons, trends, all of this stuff that's going to get even more important over time to look at, even more detailed. And we can look at wins, home wins versus away wins, favorite scoring method, power shot, but that's only 17 out of 37, and I'll get into why that's lower than it would be if we looked at some of our performances in the Manchester series. Assists, tackles there. We've got 5 yellow cards, and we did get 1 red card. We've only had 2 injuries this season, though. Even more statistics on the footballers, matches, action zones. This shows where our shots are coming from, where our scored goals are. Yeah, this one shot from way out here that managed to go in. That was a fun shot. Assists, very important. Now that's all seasons versus this. We don't have a distinction between those yet, but we do have one over with conceded goals. Now you see that they're shooting from pretty much outside the box most often. They are not getting right in towards the goalkeeper. And then cards, mostly happening in the midfield, injuries happening closer to the box. Penalties, we took 1 penalty, we shot it successfully, it scored. We have not had to defend any. And that's our statistics there. So that's a big part of this. For the other management stuff, I'll wait until we move on to the next season, but for now, we're going to go and play Corpus Christi here. Now, Corpus Christi, yeah, they're not exactly the strongest team here. We've got some options on how to deal with them, but I'm going to at least try to do some headers in. Now, we're trying to train Mead to be a midfielder. He's not exactly great for that, but he's there. And we'll adjust our defensive formation again. Now, head-to-head, we actually drew with Corpus Christi last time we played them. And that draw is really causing some problems for us, because if we had not drawn with them, we'd have a chance of getting first place. But that's not going to happen. So here we go. Now I'm playing at 48 actions on normal difficulty because, well, 90 actions is just so long. Very, very long. Corpus Christi is going to start with the ball. And passes from Wynn to Ferry here. Now, my defense is pretty good, I'd say. Goff has become a pretty good goalkeeper, but it's not always enough. Now, we have a chance here to show off the new way they calculate skills. Now, if you look up here, Weiner has long pass and has a number 7 over there. That shows his skill with that particular one. So if I try to pass to Mead, we're trying to pass past Hurst is going to have one roll of 7 versus 4. This is instead of the way it was in the base game, where it was just 10 and 10. And then depended on stamina for the rest of that. So if we do this, long pass gets to Mead here. And we have 3 actions left. It's basically as if we started out with the ball. Now Dickens going to go down to the corner, and he's going to try and cross here. And it's a beautiful header from Sheriff. I know, if you're coming from the Manchester series, this is basically our plan of attack there as well. Not going to be seeing much in the way of that. But if you're also noticing that the crowd is a little quieter, they have changed it so that the noise from the crowd is more like the noise you'd expect from a crowd this size. And it changes based off of stadium size. Now we've got Shank here. Shank has Rainbow Feint, but only a level 4. Rainbow Feint, or a 4 skilledness Rainbow Feint. He's got level 2 on it, so he's still got a decent chance of getting this by, but it's definitely not guaranteed. And he gets in, and now he can move in. Shank's already tired. It's been a difficult season for everyone involved. Now, Precision Shot. This is one of the things. Precision Shot is a better tactic now. That's why the Power Shot has not been used as much by me throughout this. It's a better chance at scoring. And Shank shows exactly why as we put in our second goal. Now, I'll probably go through a little quicker at the moment, but Hurst with the ball. He doesn't have great control. He's probably not getting by. That's exactly what happens. Whitehead kicks it away. Now, he has level 7 giftedness, but Hurst was motivated on that, so he's going to be able to come down, and Whitehead can't do the slide tackle, has to settle for a regular tackle. Pass going to Mead. Mead is going to pass this up to Sheriff, who has pretty good control. Keeps it from Burnham. Yeah, all the basic tactics are still the same. The skills are still the same. There's just some different management that we have now. And halftime, we can look. There's not much changing here. We do have showing the assists, who that was coming from, and the best player. Substitutions, same deal here. Not much changing there. We have really controlled the ball in this game, and we will start off with the ball in this one. Now, Dickens, this approach does keep working, but he's not exactly a great passer. But he doesn't need to be. Sheriff having a great game here, as is Dickens. Getting lucky on the ones here. Passes it past Cleland as our best midfielder, definitely. Ferry dribbles past Whitehead, goes for the shot, and they score off that. And I bet against all odds that that was a precision shot in order to get it by. Now Sheriff, we're going to start with Sheriff getting the ball. And we'll go and try and dribble past Tanner. And yeah, they're still going to intercept on this, but look at that difference between precision shot and power shot. We're still going to go power shot because it might hit off, but it's very unlikely to go. And yes, it's knocked off, right back to Sheriff. Might go with Tanner, and that is a foul. Right outside the backs, and an injury. Only a one-day injury. That's been the case most of the time. So we'll bring in Clark as another central forward. And that's a red card. Ooh, so I get to talk about the changes for the red cards. Now, if you look, every single player on their team now has debuffs. If you get a red card, the rest of your team lowers in skills. So it's even more of an advantage now. So we will start with Matson here. And we'll put Dickens here. I don't know exactly how we want to do this. Clark goes over there. Now the direct shot, I mean, if we get it past the wall, it's basically a guaranteed goal. And that pass doesn't work. So we're just going for the shot, and look at that, Matson with our 4th goal of the match. Don't know what happened when we drew this team 1-1. But this is going to affect them for the rest of the match. And Goff did manage to save that. Now this is still early on, so there's a lot of later game changes to strategy that I'm not going to be able to show here because we simply haven't gotten to them yet. we'll have... I hope this is a good, quick look at it. They are going to get a press off, and Win is going to take this, but that gives Mead a chance to take it right back. And Mead passes to Dickens, and Dickens probably should have gone to someone else, but we'll go for the shot, and it's saved by Clarkson, and that ends the game. 4-1, Aurora beats Corpus Christi. And now this guarantees us second place. And we got some more new music. We got showing the yellow cards in there, and a bit of a change to the icons for the men of the match. So Mead got a level up, and you can see they show the changes in the skills there. I mean, you could have done the math yourself, it's pretty easy, but it's nice to have that as well. Not sure, Whitehead getting +2 on accuracy, that's not what we need. And we got some upgrades. Yep, to Whitehead and Thrasher here. Now Whitehead's 28, he's gifted as 2, he's getting 100% of experience up until level 30. So we definitely want to keep him around and keep him going well. Let's go to attribute in focus. And for Thrasher, now Thrasher 31 also gifted as 2 and still doing well. He cannot do the level 2 skill trainable. So our only options are either the 30% experience or the utility player. So we're gonna go with 30% experience. And that is it for right now. Mead didn't quite make it up to an upgrade, unfortunately. If only he'd kept the ball. And that's the last part of that performance. We won the silver trophy. It confirms there. And now I can look at the round results. Amnaheim beat Honolulu, meaning they will be the champions. An undefeated champion. They drew 4 times, but they never lost. We only lost 1 time, which is quite unfortunate. Top 10, Shank added a goal in, Matson and Sheriff did, and somehow McKenna, who has been retired for a little less than half the season, still was the leader in assists. Now round statistics, looking at how people performed, and analytics, most spectacular match, all that stuff. Assistant of the round is Dickens with 2. Very, very nice. And this is another new thing, the team of the round. Now we have Whitehead, Dickens, and Sheriff in for the team of the round, and you get new fans and potential glory if you have people on this list. And that's the end of the season. Sheriff is recovered. All that's good. And we look at the table. Yes, we managed to beat off Honolulu based on goal differential. And we were 1 point behind Anaheim. So let's go to the next season and take a look at the transition between seasons, which is something I haven't seen, but I think there are some little changes in regards to statistics and all that stuff. Teams playing their matches in other tournaments. They're taking their time, it seems. A lot of holding in the midfield, I'm guessing. Yeah, I really like the soundtrack changes. Results. Footballers have displayed some outstanding football, and we have been promoted to the 3rd league. And we can look at the statistics. I mean, we did just look at these. We could have had the most clean sheets if we hadn't given up that 1 goal to Corpus Christi, unfortunately. Lots of big stuff here. Matches. Team that angered there, yeah. Champion. Closest result. Aurora FC. We were close there. Phoenix Wings, our biggest defeat was our loss against Honolulu. That was the second game of the entire season. Yeah, and we were second. We were the second best team in goals scored in a match and the second best team in goals conceded in a match. So we continue, and we've got the team of the tournament. So this is all the players, and none of our defenders made it in. But McKenna, who's retired, and Shank did. And I really like that we can also look at how things went for the other leagues in this. Even further on the stuff here. And we also have the tournament teams, but we had no one who made it for that. And we could look at their Shank, Matson, Sheriff, McKenna, Dickens, Doolin, Thrasher, Viner, Goff, and Shank again giving us quite a bit of glory here. New season. Promoted to next league, top ranked in third league? Yeah, that's not happening. Goals, victory, match, home victory. I think we're going with Primero here. And now we can take a look at transfers, and we got a bunch of notifications here. Ooh, we got an opportunity here. Another one. It's fun there. Gilliland learned long pass. We have a 19-year-old Thornton. Where have I seen that name before? Contracts, transfer window, prestige, and here we go. Mesa. Mesa is interested in buying Doolin from us. They're a second league club. You'll get these offers in the new one. 139,000 as opposed to his value there. Now Doolin has been a really good player for us. And we can come back to that because, I mean, Doolin is really good. I would hate to lose him. And then we can look at the transfers here. Still pretty much the same. But then we can look at extended lists. Still can send scouts to other leagues to look at those. But then international transfers. Yes, my scouts are not skilled enough, but at some point, probably at the Premier League level, we can look to other countries for transfers. It's a really cool feature that I'd like to get into more. But another thing we can do is we can look at other clubs and we can say, I wonder how much they want for Braid here. And to negotiate, we do need to pay some glory. And Braid is way, way too expensive for us. But we can go directly to particular clubs and say I want a wing forward. Is there a wing forward out there that we could take? We could try and buy them from one of the teams. Oh, and that's the statistics from there, and it'll bring out each one of the seasons as well. But let's look at Arlington. Arlington has Kramer here. He's gonna be, very expensive to get. But there's just so much more depth to the game now. And it's just really fun to look at, and we can look at head-to-head. We haven't played Tulsa yet. They're going to be a tougher opponent than, well, pretty much anyone we played thus far. And that's another thing. The game is more difficult now with the changes there, but it also has so much more strategic depth. So I'm going to leave it off there. I didn't show everything. I can't show everything without going through basically an entire series with this one, and I am not done with Manchester FC. So I will be continuing that on the base game, but I did want to give everyone a look at the DLC and some initial thoughts on it, and I think it's really good. There's a lot of content that's been added, and a lot of features that I would like, especially the statistics over in my other save, but alas, saves do not transfer between the DLC and the regular game, which is understandable because just how many statistics they'd have to deal with. But I hope you enjoyed this anyways, and I want to thank Creo Team for giving me a code to check out the DLC, and I hope that once the Manchester series is done, I can play a little more on the DLC here. Not sure about a full series yet, but definitely gonna give it a try more. And thankfully, I can just ask it to undownload the DLC, and my other save is there waiting for me. Well, I hope you enjoyed this special video, and that you give Football Stars a try. If you have, let me know how it's been going for you, and I hope to see you all over in the Manchester series as that continues on. Have a great day, and happy gaming.